Hi, my name is Ace.
And I'm Jason.
And welcome to the Guitar Show Live podcast in association with SAE. We've been having some real fun. We've been talking to the artists, we've been down in the show, we've been talking to the manufacturers as well, and we've got some great stories and some real fun things to share with you about the whole show, spotting out the community, the whole lot.
Yeah, we got 20 episodes that are going to roll out over the next year, so strap yourselves in.
Hi, it's Podcast here. We are at Cranmore at the Guitar Show. I'm with Dagan Wilkin. How you doing?
I'm wonderful, mate. I've just come off doing the little live stage thing where it's the first time I've ever done anything like that before.
Yeah.
After going from the YouTube screen where I can edit everything and make things nice to being thrust in front of a live audience.
I saw you demonstrating probably the most simplest pedal ever in the world, the volume pedal.
Yes.
Right? Making actually seem cool and usable.
I will die on this hill. I think it's one of the most important, coolest pedals in the world, even though it's lame. It just goes back and forth with your toes. But you can do so much with it. People just need to realise that. I feel like I'm getting paid by big volume pedal.
Amazing. I saw you earlier and I was saying, oh, I know you, you know. And I think one of the reasons I know you is because you do all these amazing videos on YouTube, right? Like trying out all this different type of gear. And I've seen a lot of stuff. And sometimes when I'm looking at new stuff, I watch your videos of new stuff. What got you into originally doing all that?
I kind of just fell into it. It was something that cause I worked for PMT for years, as a lot of people probably know.
That's where I know you from.
PMT.
Okay. Yeah, go on, yeah.
Okie dokie. And that exploded, as we all know. But in 2015, my friend really brought in a camera one day. And growing up, I was a huge fan of like the Fret Americana videos with Phil X, the Andertons videos with Lee back in the day. So when the camera came, I was like, I'd love to do something like that. I've always been in bands. I've always loved performing and stuff. So it just naturally kind of fell into place. And the people that own PMT were like, that Geordie lad's actually, he's quite fun to watch, isn't he? Because a lot of people, I always play guitar standing up.
Yeah.
Like, I like the performative nature of guitar just as much as I do the noise it makes and the things you can do with it. So I started doing demos standing up and people started to really enjoy it and it just kind of spiraled from there.
So how do you split your time now with content, musician, working? What's your kind of multiple income kind of stream look like, as in like jobs you do and the amount of time you spend on them?
Unfortunately, I'm guessing you're going to speak to a lot of people today and ask us a very similar question and you'll get tons of different answers because there's no solid one thing. It's just we're making it work for you and utilising the facilities that are available to you, the help that you're getting, whether that be through helps with like the jobs you're getting, and managing your time. Time management's a huge thing, and trying to work with burnout and how you can use burnout. And with like content creation, whether it be short form, long form, there's always a way to. If you do get burnout and you start losing your mind, you can use that.
Yeah,
and use the energy from it. Use the content of being burnt out and create content through that. I'm saying content too much, but you know what I mean. Like it's a hard thing to kind of to work and plan. But I've got a nice little way of working now, where it's been nearly a year since PMT's demise and doing all this stuff now. That I've got a nice little. I've built the blocks up to know how things work, but. Unfortunately, I've been asked this before, and it's not for everyone. Like, there's so many different ways you can do it.
Yeah. And what about playing live? Are you out playing live much now?
Yeah, plenty. Funnily enough, this is quite the weekend for me.
Yeah.
I was in Liverpool last night, playing at the Arts Club.
Oh, okay. Nice place.
Lovely
actually.
place, yeah. Me and my lovely wife drove to Birmingham for 1 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
I've been here since 9:30, and tonight I'm playing at Huddersfield.
That sounds like a musician's life.
Yep,
it does.
Talking about managing your time and working with the burnout and using it and stuff. It's a musician's life, but I'm playing live a lot.
Amazing. We were just talking about vintage guitars, right? And about the love of vintage guitars. And we were saying about the fact that, you know, if you're going to buy something, especially at a show like this, you know, sometimes you don't want to wait to wear in something brand new. You might see something for the same price, which is kind of the same, and it's brand new, right? And it's fantastic. Or you can get a vintage one for the same price. But, you know, there's something more appealing about vintage. And what is it to you that would make you, like, buy the vintage over the original?
Do you know when you put on a really used, comfy pair of jeans? And it's an analogy that's used a lot, but it can totally translate into instruments and guitars, whether that's real relicking from vintage guitars or the relicking that Fender do or the Murphy Lab or whatever. When you if it's a guitar that you're already planning on getting and you enjoy, like for me, the SGs, and you play one that's been played in, it feels like you're shaking hands with an old friend.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I understand new guitars are great and they're fantastic, and starting that story with a guitar it's just something I've never had in me, but it must be fantastic. I know people don't like putting the first chip in a guitar, but the first chip's always the worst, but you'll always remember that chip.
First chip is the deepest.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll remember like growing with the guitar, but I think there's something wonderfully like the term romantic is like carrying on the legacy of that guitar and putting your mark onto a guitar which has already done so much.
Exactly. It's like, like kind of like in Japan where they put those big stones in front of buildings, right? Yeah. The reason they put them there is because stone is supposed to absorb like image and, and all this sort. And so they're putting something there that's already kind of photographically taken a lot of stuff in, right? So taking on a vintage guitar, you're kind of like, as you said, you're taking on the legacy. It's had something, it's done something, it's absorbed stuff.
Yeah.
And you're now putting a new chapter on that guitar.
Of course.
And I suppose that's the appeal as well. It's so exciting compared to a new one. It's great. You're beginning that chapter.
Yeah.
But the other one, maybe you get some of the energy back from it,
Exactly. And it's very nuanced and bizarre to say, but we are essentially just custodians of these. Like,
they'll outlive us. They will outlive us.
They will outlive us. Like I've got like godchildren where this is older than, and for some reason I own something which is older than something that existed. That's weird, that kind of thing. But think of like everything's going to do that, guitar related. So being the custodian and carrying on the story and putting miles on something. I know it's just wood and metal.
I know.
But they mean so much more to us than that. They can make you happy, they can make you sad, they can pull you out of a funk, they can put you in a funk.
It's the best friend you ever have.
Of course, mate.
It really is. Best friend you ever have. So the show, right? Being at the show now, you've just done your demonstration in a room. It was packed. I couldn't even get in. Actually, I was at the door looking through the little bit of glass, and the only reason I didn't get asked to move was the fact that you were coming in the room, right? So it was successful there. So for you at a show like this, how important it is for you to be involved in like new gear and like the kind of like as you said, you're one of the people that's kind of bringing that to the masses, right? What does it mean to you to work with new equipment and new gear?
It's something that I just really am passionate about. Like I was saying at the start, I love music. I love the noises the guitar makes, but I love things and just bric-a-brac and tat, if you want to call it that. I love pedals. I love cables. I love fancy 9-volt power cables. I like cheap 9-volt power cables. I just love that whole kind of thing. And I'm the first to say I'm not a Mateus Asato on guitar. I can't sweep pick like Sinister Gates or Tim Henson or whatever. But I like to think that people enjoy my passion about this kind of stuff, and nothing gets me hyped up more than new gear.
Yeah, like there's a space for everyone. I believe in musicians. It's like, you've got like Dragon Force and you've got Steve Vai and you've got people who are just technically amazing shreds, and other people can't even touch that. You've got The Cure, you've got U2, guitar-based bands. There is a space for everyone, and that space also appeals to other people as well, right?
Course.
And I think that's like we can never judge. We are not the ones to judge, right? We just create our spaces, right? So for you as an artist, right, what do you get the most out of playing? What is it about playing that feeds your addiction to it?
That's an interesting question, because being a touring musician for years, a lot of it will be the reaction from a crowd. That obviously is a massive part, but not everyone can do that, and people still love playing guitar. It is, for me, just the way it makes you feel. Like I've always got a guitar in my hand. It's almost like I was saying, I was like, can I have my guitar on my lap here? Because it's almost like a comfort thing. I'd be absolutely fine talking to you without it. But for some reason, just having these little strings under my hand, it's like when you get something that wasn't there before as well. That's a big part of it.
when you get a really good sound and you're playing, and you just feel like you never want to die, do you? You're just like, this can last forever for me.
But interesting with that, I've started to have a bit of fun with playing with bad sounds. I deliberately these days try and get a not great guitar sound and see if I can vibe off that. And see how that changes your brain and makes you play in a certain way and puts you in a different place mentally. Because you're not going to break anything. And I love experimenting with stuff and seeing how far I can push things where I still enjoy what I do. Just for my own personal benefit. I might be losing my mind in my little studio in the house, making myself sound ridiculous to see if I can get over myself. But you can do so much with it, and it's just the greatest thing ever.
So I want to ask you, what about studying the instrument? Did you have lessons, or did you just take it off the wall and play by ear?
I haven't had any lessons, and you can probably tell by my absolute love of the pentatonic scale.
Yes, yes, of course.
But it works for people, and myself included. I've got this far with it, but no formal lessons. I wasn't actually allowed to do music in school because I started doing art.
Yes, yeah, same to me actually.
And I wasn't, because I did art, I started picking up the instrument halfway through that, and I wasn't allowed to swap or change it or carry it on in sixth form or whatever. I did go to Newcastle College to study music.
Yeah.
But that was much more of a performative kind of thing, like starting bands as kids and stuff. And Newcastle College is great at well, you know what it's like being in bands and stuff. It's like a community.
Yes.
And that's your first little kind of toe dip into the community when you're all 16, 17, putting yourself in bands and stuff and jamming with people. That's more of a thing than learning the theory and stuff behind it.
Yeah.
I'd be much better if I did learn theory. But I've been playing so long.
But would you?
That's the thing. I've been playing so long that I know where things just fit. Depending on keys
theory
and stuff.
is just a way of explaining what you're doing.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
If you're doing it, you're doing it. It's like a direction, isn't it? Walk left, go around. It's like just follow me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you're doing, right? So I think theory is great if you want to explain what you're doing, but apart from that, you don't really know it. Don't need it. Here's a question for you, right? This place you mentioned community, right?
Yes.
Downstairs community, right? You know, like a normal job, right? At 5:30, right? At the end of the day, no one goes, "Hey man," and hugs each other. That's a great day in the office, right? You don't get that, right? Yeah. But whereas you go downstairs, is I've already been downstairs. I've probably hugged 10 people walking through the hall, right? There's, an instrument, playing instrument is not like a real job as in we see as an office job in that sense, right? We play an instrument, we don't job an instrument, right? So the community for you've been doing this for ages. Your face is all over the internet, right? How do you find it when you come to a show like this?
It's odd. Wonderful, but odd. I'm still not used to it. It's been quite a while, and I can't walk through the centre of the thing without getting pictures taken and people wanting guitar picks and all that kind of crazy stuff. It's not like Kim Kardashian. It's ridiculous. But I do wholly believe that it's the same kind of thing as skateboarding or BMXing or any kind of sport like that. Obviously, football and rugby and this is one thing, but for me, it all resonates with skateboarding, guitar playing. We've all practiced the same amount to get to where we are. Skateboarders fall, break the hands and graze the knees and stuff. Guitar players sit, practice scales for hours to get to a point where you feel comfortable coming somewhere and talking to people. So it's wonderful chatting to these people and them knowing who I am, but I do feel a connection to them because we've all been there and done it and learned the same songs and got to this kind of point in our guitar playing where we can come to a guitar show and talk to people. And
it's a passion-led industry, isn't it? Right?
Very much so.
We put more passion into it than we think about what we're going to get out of it in a way, right? Yeah. And so, like music and art, maybe it's the last thing that actually spiritually connects us, because everything else doesn't really. Working in accounting, finance, it doesn't connect us to anything that's spiritual, I suppose, in a way. So for you, that kind of spiritual connection about stuff. What is it about music that makes you go through all of the hard times as well as the good ones?
I think I haven't had that much of a deep connection with music as much as I do love music. For me, it was more, especially when I started playing guitar, and it's still a big part of. I'm sat here with bandanas on and wearing nail polish and stuff. It was all about the attitude. Yeah. For me. So growing up, it was Motorhead, Sex Pistols, AC/DC, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses and stuff. And there were times in my life where, like you say, the spiritual nature makes me think a certain way and makes you happy, makes you sad. But for me, it's less listening to music that makes me change my moods like that. But it's actually just playing the guitar. Right. Like whether it be an electric guitar acoustically or an acoustic guitar acoustically. I get way more kind of an emotional shift into how I want to feel by playing a guitar than listening to music, which could be contradictory to a lot of people, but resonating with an instrument and making vibrations in the air means more to me than music, but that doesn't mean that I don't adore music, because I do. I think I like the art of playing guitar more than music, if that...
Yeah, but I suppose the music, it's hard to describe. Yeah. So here's a question for you then. You've done your kind of showcase here, right? And you've met some people downstairs. You probably haven't had a lot of time downstairs. What's the plan for the rest of the day for you before you set off to your show?
I'm going to go and have a pint. I need to calm down after that stage. Yeah. And then I'm with Boss all weekend.
Oh, cool.
So I'll be hanging around the Boss booth with the katanas, with all the pedals, chatting to folk, and I'll be shooting some bits on Boss's behalf, on my behalf. And like you were saying before, you know everyone downstairs just because it's the community, as do I. I'm just going to take a camera around and just chat to some old friends about instruments, the way the music industry is now, and how we're going to continue and stop it from going away. Because there's a chance in 10 years' time it could be a lot smaller, but we need to keep it going with stuff like this to keep it going. So, yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Mate. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Cheers, dude.
I shall see you downstairs.
All the best, mate.
Thanks, man. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.